folks, welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker. Look at that. Losi coming off a wild demolition-type parts for sale race at the Crosse Speedway. And, man, I'll tell you what, you knew a night like that was about to happen because we had some really quiet nights getting out of there early and some fantastic racing. But, yeah, the racing gods came crashing down Saturday night.
Crashing down is right. We were out there this week, our team, for the first time this year, and we were so excited to get going, and then we were so disappointed after 2 laps because we had burned an electrical wire. Then we were glad we were off the track.
Yeah, and we're going to show you here probably one of the worst crashes we've had at the Crosse Speedway. We're going to start things off with the NASCAR late models on the program today. And for John Olson out of Sparta, Wisconsin, all he had to do was hold on for 5 laps. He would have picked up his first ever feature win in a late model. Just didn't turn out like that. This had to be the first time that I've seen the top 4 drivers, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, gone.
Ouch. In
a flash. They were trying to get around Bob Mansky. Johnny O was running a lane, Jay Herbst running another lane, and then you saw 2 drivers that had no place to go. You had Matt Henderson and Jeremy Wagner, no place to go. Top 4 were eliminated just like that with 5 to go. And, you know, at the track, I said it doesn't matter how hard you're racing in a race. You don't stop till the checkered flag drops, and Harley Jankowski found that out real quick.
Harley did an excellent job. He was running in 5th place. He was doing a veteran move. He was sitting there enjoying where he was at, just waiting to see what would happen. And because of that, he ended up in the catbird seat, and he ended up doing an excellent job, hitting his marks, running fantastic lines, and actually pulling away for the win.
Well, Todd Korish said he shouldn't have ever finished second. He said he didn't even think he had a top 5 car that night. And he said he was lucky to hold on to second. It was nice to see Cole Howland finish in the top 3. Sean Paff said he needs to be a little bit more consistent. Well, he got a top 4 finish right here, and the way that the points shook down after this race right here, things have gotten really interesting. Number 1, congratulations, Harley Jankowski, first ever late model win.
Excellent.
Also, he got that win on the first anniversary of getting a kidney transplant last year, so congratulations to the Jankowski family. Point standing wise, boy, things really shook up after one night. Todd Korish, Mr. Consistent, finds himself at the top of the list. Brad Powell, he's going to be in contention all year. Remember that name. The 43 will be in contention. He's only 5 back. Sean Paff and the Honey Badger Brent Kirshner are tied for 3rd, both 8 points back. And Jay Herbst fell 22 points back. Rest of the top 10, Mike Carlson, Cole Howland, Matt Henderson, Harley Jankowski, and Bill Niles. 5 drivers right now to watch for from here on out.
Yes, and Brent Kirshner was well up there, and I don't know, he just seemed to have a frustrating night. It wasn't a normal night for him where he would be running up front and staying up front. I didn't really see what was happening, but it just didn't seem like he was having his normal quick night out there.
Well, we're going to go from the NASCAR late models to the Grand National Sportsman, and for Dr. Noise Billy Martin, well, he bought a radiator on Friday, cost him about $170. And you're going to see here in just a minute how quick you can burn up $170 as Justin Berg's going to get loose as the cars come back around. You're going to find him in turns 1 and 2. And for Dr. Noise, Bill Martin out of Madison had nowhere to go but T-bone time, and would be very surprised if we ever saw that 39 back of the racetrack this year. Front end bent, the frames bent, the stubs bent. You're going to find it right here. Sliding sideways, contact, rip the front end off. Just like that, and there was a lot of damage to the 39 car.
There really was, and Billy, he's been having, I guess what you could say, racing luck over the last year and a half. This was where he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, Bill's trying to see what he can do. He said they drove it off the trailer, then something broke on that, but they still got it back into the garage. And last note, talking to Billy, it's going to be quite a while since until we get that 39 car back on the track, but he's got some other alternatives he's working on out there as well. To the feature we go, and boy, I tell you what, this one's going to be quite interesting as well. The top 5 in points, I kind of figured were going to be there this year. Randy Humfeld, followed by Matt England, who's only 14 back, Jake Arneson, Rick Schermerhorn, and Greg Scheck. Schermerhorn, You get that guy in the front and he's gone. Pretty much every race you ever see him out there, if he gets to the front and he does it early, you can expect him to get the feature win.
That's what it seems like. It seems like when he's back in traffic, he has a few issues with the handling of his car, but once he gets out in front with clean air, he can just pull away.
Well, the battle here was fantastic throughout the night. It was, as you see, Humfeld finishing second. The battle for third was big for about 8 or 9 laps. That was the Hulk Smash 27 of Matt Englert and Jake Arneson, the one-armed bandit from last year. That was a pretty good battle. And I tell you what, Jake, I think, is going to find himself in this points mix from here on up for the rest of the season, as is Rick Schermerhorn. Greg Scheck just hasn't caught fire like we thought he was going to, but this is Greg Scheck. He's been out there for many years, and I would suspect him to pull one out of the bag here in the next couple of weeks. Thunder stocks were actually calm somewhat. We've had some cautions during the feature, which you're going to find here in a couple of moments, but nothing like we saw in the late models, nothing like we saw in the Sportsman, and really not even like we saw in the Hornets, even though Nick Scholze did what he did 3 years ago. He flipped over in turn 2 again. This night here belonged to, well, I'll tell you what, the man out of Sparta, he's been unstoppable on this quarter-mile action track, and Anna Moore is going to pick up a feature win here. And the points battle here just got that much tighter as well. Tom Luthi out of West Salem, recently graduated senior out of high school, has a slim 8-point lead over Dakota Miller. Jordan Myers, another youngster, was going for Rookie of the Year last year, 17 back. David Cavan, who gave up his car for the almost the entire season at Brad Wortham last year, 23 back, and Nathan One Car White rounding out the top 5. To the Hornets we go. We had a couple of features. We had 19 cars in the first feature, 21 in the second feature. And I was really happy to see our first feature winner pull the number 50 across the line. Been a long time since Garrett Tickey has raced at the racetrack. Came back out this year, had somewhat of a strong performance last year, but pulled away in that fast car and get into victory lane.
Yeah, it's kind of fun watching the guys who come back to the racetrack do well. Scheck was gone for a while and came back, and he's doing really well. And it's kind of fun watching people like Garrett out there who really enjoy the aspect of racing.
This is a pretty good 19-car field. You see the great green melon machine of Mandy Eckelberg out there. She won a heat race Saturday night, and she's going to be a contender when you come looking at the points here towards the end of the season. And I think Garrett Tickey, he needs back there in points, but if he can continue to run like that, I think he may have a chance as well, and he's actually on our program today. We're going to be talking to him here in just a couple of moments. Second Hornet feature, been a long time since I've seen the number 50, Larry Hollitz, coming out of Rochester, Minnesota, in victory lane, and Larry did it. And I tell you what, the Facebook blasts have been huge.
There again, you've got someone who has been out here racing for a long time and enjoys racing, and it's kind of fun watching these guys win.
You see the mosquito nest go up. That was Mark Bornitz. Anytime you hear Bornitz and a probe on the racetrack, you got to watch out. But he said his turbo blew up.
Yes.
And it ended up throwing a bunch of oil into the exhaust. And as I talked to him a little bit yesterday, he said after 128,000 miles and as many laps as he put on that track, that turbo finally expired, and we'll see how quick he can get another turbo back on that car. So points-wise for the Window World Hornets, Mark Bornitz leads Kim Strom by 2, Jeff Stumlin by 8, Andy Moore by 10. Jacob Bemis, he's got a nice fan club out there, too. They've got some pretty nice racing apparel shirts out there with his fan club. Jeff Thompson, Larry Hollitz, Kyle Swenson, Jake Chalmers, and J.R. Tortolot round out your top 10. When we come back, we're going to talk to a feature winner from last week and his car owner. Garrett Tickey is going to join us along with Dennis Gross, also racing at the Crosse Speedway last weekend. Coming up next after this break on 7 Rivers Racing.